There are a ton of leaks coming to LEGO Fortnite, including a brand new gravity gun. Today's winner for a skin is actually going to be that Steelers guy 1. We gifted him the brand new Mysterious Fate skin. Now, if you guys want to be selected, make sure that you guys comment your name down below. And if you guys buy skins often, make sure you support your favorite creator, Crafty Plays. Now, the dates for the possible updates that could have these leaks and all previous leaks that I've put out is going to be February 6th, February 20th, and then March 8th. Now, do I believe that we're going to get any large items on February 6th and the 20th? Absolutely not. Those are just updates to the current version that we're playing on for Battle Royale and for LEGO Fortnite. However, on Chapter 5 Season 2's update, which is on March 8th, it's very likely that we start to see new content being added into LEGO Fortnite, assuming that they start treating LEGO Fortnite just like they do when you're playing Battle Royale with a new season, which means new biomes, potentially new creatures, weapons, and things like that, just like they do for Battle Royale. Now, the first leak that we have is brand new food potions and foods coming into the game. If you guys saw my previous leak, we've already talked about carrots and being able to hold them in your hand, and we've seen video footage of that. However, here's a few foods that will actually reduce hunger, and then we actually have some foods that boost your player. So, foods that reduce your hunger is meat stew, vegetable stew, cactus fruit, smoothies, carrot, bananas, watermelons, blueberry, raspberry, cherry, coconut, sandwich eggs, cookies, mushrooms, lemon lime, blueberry pie, apple juice, raspberry juice, blueberry juice, carrot juice, and night bloom petals. Those are all just foods you can eat that will reduce your hunger exactly like what's in the game right now. However, we're getting some different types of food that increase your jumping height, which means that you'll actually jump higher after you eat an apple or drink a dark apple juice. There's also going to be a food that you could go ahead and eat that gives increased damage to enemies, which will be a pumpkin pear pie. Now, I actually went and cleared out my entire village just so I had enough area for all the food. Obviously, this is way too much land for all of the new food that could potentially come, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough open area. That way I could build all of those brand new juices that will give your player that boost, and then also be able to create some carrots, because I don't need all of this area, as everything that I need is in this giant white box to my left. Now, we have these images here, which is a leak for a stud gun. But what you guys can also see is in this text description that we know absolutely nothing about this. It's in the ranged weapons section, so it's possible that we just do get a gun in the game for LEGO Fortnite. However, the placeholder description is for a copy and paste of a previous weapon is what it seems like, and there's nothing that we could actually see about this weapon to know what it's going to do, how it's going to act in the game, and what its use is going to be for in the game. Because right now, the way that this game is played is all using weapons that are pretty basic and don't require actual gun or blast powder and things of that nature. So for this gun in particular, we're not sure exactly what it's going to do, but we do know that it is in the game files and it potentially will be released at some point in the game. Next up is going to be a bow. Not a crossbow, just a regular bow. Now, the difference between this and a crossbow is the crossbow is really like a trigger, where you're just going to pull on the trigger and that will shoot the crossbow out, or an arrow at whatever enemy you're pointing it at. A bow, on the other hand, will actually be a charge back in order to shoot out your attack. So when it comes to the bow, just like Minecraft, you're going to have to hold in your shoot button just a little bit longer to charge up that attack to give you max power, and then that will do the most damage to your enemy. Obviously, doing smaller charge ups is going to do less damage compared to the maximum, which is really cool to add into the game. Hopefully this works a little bit better than the crossbow as far as long range attacks go, and trying to, aim precisely without the drop of the arrow. This could work a lot better than what we've seen so far. Now, the crossbow is very point and click, which is really nice. However, you guys can see that when things are further in the distance, you actually need to aim up in order to get that arrow to arc down onto what you're shooting at. This does take some practice and getting used to. However, I feel like if we get the bow to drop in the game, it will give us an arc while we're pulling back that charge to show us exactly where we're going to shoot these arrows at. We desperately need this because that way it just makes it a lot easier when you're trying to fight things like brutes or trying to shoot things long distance like wolves and skeletons. That way you don't need to sit here and waste arrows missing and then having to run over and pick them all back up. Now, I saved the gravity gun for last, and that's because everything I've talked about previously could have potentially dropped in that January 23rd update, in the upcoming February 6th and the upcoming February 20th update, because all of those items are just new and they don't require a large update in order to give them. The gravity gun works the opposite. You see that you have a tier 3, a tier 4, and a tier 5 for this weapon. We don't have tier 5s in the game just yet. Those come when we get the new workbench upgrade, which was going to happen when we get the new biome. You guys can also see on this weapon as crystals in the middle of it, and what that means is we need to get crystals in order to make it. How did we get crystals? Well, the leaks from Pro 4, they told us that we needed to get those from the rift caves in the new biome. So this gun is going to be awesome when it releases, but we can't get that until we get the massive update with the brand new biome. The description for this is actually pretty cool. It says that you can grab things and then throw them at other things. So there's 3 different variations, but it's going to be a way that you can move items and then put them somewhere else without having to break them and then replace them. So I'm assuming that this will work even on large buildings, but maybe not. But when it comes to smaller things like chests, like workbenches and things like that, rather than having to break them and upgrade everything back up, using this gun, you could just start moving things into place rather than rebuilding them. Now, the gravity gun would be awesome for trolling, but like I mentioned before, you can pick up items and then move them out of the way. I just redid my entire base to build this efficiency building, so what that would have allowed me to do was actually just pick up my workbench and move it into different areas that it would have done better in, rather than breaking it and then having to upgrade a workbench from tier 0 or tier 1 all the way up to tier 4. So being able to move this workbench or move items in the game will help so much having this gravity gun. If you're still watching, that's really freaking cool and awesome of you. Comment down below if you're still watching this late in the video. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't push your videos unless they're over 8 minutes long, so I had to throw my outro on here 1 or 2 more times than I probably wanted to. That way I could hit that 8-minute mark. So shout out to anybody that's still watching at this point.